Hello friends, in this video we will learn a very important topic of organic chemistry, and the name of the topic is nucleophilic substitution reactions. The nucleophilic substitution reactions are having a very wide applications in synthesizing a various large molecules. That is why this topic is very important for IIT JEE and NEET level students. So let's see what are these reactions. So from these reactions or their names, we can understand these are the substitution reactions. It means that there is a replacement of one group by another group. So what does it mean? It means that one group is replaced by another group in these reactions. For example, if we have PHCO Cl, and if I add NH3 here, and it is having one lone pair, and we know that oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. That is why this oxygen will abstract the electron density of this CO bond, and it will have partial negative charge, and carbon will have partial positive charge. So that is why this carbon will act as electrophile, and this NH3 will act as a nucleophile, and this lone pair or NH3 will attack on this carbon, and this bond will shift here, and we will get PHCO minus NH and H, and here we will have positive charge and Cl group. Now this hydrogen will shift to this oxygen, and we will have PCOH, this is Cl and NH2. Now this CO bond, this OH bond will shift here, and this CCl bond will cleave out, and we will have PHCONH2. So from here we can see that this Cl group in this compound, this Cl group is replaced by this NH3 group. That is why we are getting PHCONH2. So because in this reaction one group is replaced by another group, that is why it is an example of substitution reaction. We can take another example, that is PHCH2Cl, and if I add aqueous KOH here, so we know that from aqueous KOH we get K plus and OH minus here, and if we look into this compound, that is PHCH2Cl, then this CCl bond, this is HOMO, that is highest occupied molecular orbital, and its LUMO, that is this bond's LUMO, will present to this side, that is lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, and this orbital is electron deficient, that is why, or vacant orbital, this one, that is why this OH minus will attack into this orbital, and this CCl bond will cleave out, and we will get PHCH2 OH minus. This will be our final product. So from here we can again see that this Cl group is replaced by this OH minus group. That is why it is also an example of substitution reaction. Now there is the two possibilities of the attacking of nucleophile on electrophile, and these two possibilities are SN1 and SN2, and these are called SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism. So what is SN1 mechanism? So actually SN1 mechanism happen when there is a possibility of the formation of stable carbocation. That means if stable carbocation forms as an intermediate in any reaction, then there will be a possibility of SN1 mechanism. And this stable carbocation can be tertiary carbocation or any lone pair containing group at alpha position with respect to the carbocation. For example, RCH2 or CH2 plus, this is carbocation, and this oxygen is having lone pair. So this lone pair will stabilize this carbocation, and similarly RCH2 NHCH2, and this is having positive charge. So this positive charge will also stabilize by this lone pair, because nitrogen is also having one lone pair group. So if there is any lone pair containing group at alpha position with respect to the carbocation, these are also stable carbocation. So in such cases, there is possibility of SN1 mechanism. For example, if I take an example of this type of carbocation, for example, if I have CH3, CH2O, CH2X, where X is leaving group. X is leaving group here. Now, if I add any nucleophile here, so before attacking the nucleophile on this carbon, this X bond, this CX bond will cleave out, and we will get a stable carbocation, that is CH3, CH2O, CH2 plus. Because this carbocation is stabilized by this lone pair, so we can say this is a stable carbocation, and because stable carbocation is forming here, that is why before attacking this nucleophile, this CX bond cleave out. Now this nucleophile comes and attack here, and we will get CH3, CH2O, CH2 and nucleophile. Similarly, we can have another example, that is tertiary methyl, tertiary butyl and chlorine group here. So if I add any nucleophile like aqueous KOH, then OH minus will come, that is OH minus nucleophile will come, and before attacking this OH minus on this carbon, this CCl bond will cleave out, because we are getting a stable carbocation. That is why before attacking this nucleophile, we get this carbocation. Now OH minus will attack here, and we will get our final product. See, from chemical kinetics, we can see the rate of the reaction here. Rate of reaction. So rate of reaction from chemical kinetics, we know that rate of reaction depends on the slowest step. So here we have two steps, that is step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is the formation of carbocation, and step 2 is the attacking of nucleophile on carbocation. So if we look into this compound, this is a stable compound, and this intermediate, that is carbocation, is unstable in comparison to this compound. And again, the final product is the stable one in comparison to this unstable intermediate, that is carbocation, that is formed here. So from stable to unstable, because we are moving from stable to unstable, it means that it is a slowest step. That means cleavage of CCl bond is slowest step, and here we are moving from unstable to stable compounds. So it means that OH minus, that is attacking of OH minus, will be fast here. That is why it will be fastest step. And we know that rate of the reaction depends on the slowest step. That is why rate of this reaction will depend on this step. So rate of reaction will be equals to K, and concentration of this compound, suppose its concentration in this compound is Y, then I can write Y concentration, where K is rate constant. So its rate of reaction depends on this step, because this one is slowest one. So this was about the mechanism of SN1. Now let's see what is the mechanism of SN2 mechanism. So in this mechanism, there is no formation of the stable carbocation. That means if the possibility of less stable carbocation, that means there is no stable carbocation formation, then we can use SN2 mechanism. For example, if we have CH3, CH2X, X is leaving group. If I think SN1 mechanism here, then according to SN1, this CX bond should cleave, and we should get CH3, CH2 plus, but we can see that this is a primary carbocation which is very unstable. That is why this carbocation will not form here, and before forming this carbocation, if we add any nucleophile that is OH minus here, then this will attack and this CX bond will cleave out and we will get CH3 CH2 OH. This will be our final product because this is unstable carbocation. Unstable carbocation, that is why this will not form, only direct attack of this OH minus will take place. So we can take another example, that is CH3 CHX and CH3. So if I add again aqueous KOH, that is OH minus here, then if we think about the stability of carbocation, then carbocation form will be CH3 CH plus and CH3. So this is secondary carbocation, which is also not a very stable carbocation, but more than primary carbocation. So that is why, because it is also not a very stable carbocation, that is why OH minus will attack before forming this carbocation. So that is why we will get CH3 CH OH and CH3. So that will also undergo via SN2 mechanism. Now like SN1 mechanism, we can see the rate of reaction of SN2 mechanism also. So rate of the SN2 mechanism, what will be the rate of this reaction? See, there is only one step, that is attacking of the nucleophile and breaking of this CX bond. So the rate of the reaction will depend on the concentration of this compound and concentration of nucleophile also. So if I write nucleophile via Nu and compound by Y, then rate of the reaction will be K, Y and concentration of nucleophile, because nucleophile is also involved in the mechanism or first step, or we can say slowest step. That is why its rate of the reaction will be equal to K, Y, Nu. So it will be its rate of reaction. Now there is one more important factor that we have to learn about SN1 and SN2 mechanism, and that will be the stereochemistry. Stereochemistry of SN1 and SN2. So let's learn about SN1 stereochemistry. So as we know that there is formation of stable carbocation, so let's have an example CX, and here we have R dash, R double dash. Suppose these three R groups are same, that is R equals to R dash equals to R double dash, and suppose these are methyl group. Then according to SN1 mechanism, there is formation of stable carbocation, that is this one. This is R dash, R double dash. Now nucleophile will come and will attack from this side. It will not attack from this side because there is steric hindrance of these different same R groups. That is why it will attack only from front side. So we'll have R dash, R double dash and nucleophile. So from here we can see that nucleophile is attacking from front side, or we can say it is attacking on the same side to which side CX group or X group was attached. That is why its stereochemistry is not changed. Since stereochemistry is not changed, we can say that here is retention of configuration, because there is no change in stereochemistry in this case. But suppose if we have different R groups, that is R is not equals to R dash and R dash is not equals to R double dash, then this carbon will be chiral one, that is this is X, this is R, and R dash and R double dash. Now these three R groups are different and X group is also different, and since this carbon is having 4 different groups, that is why this carbon will be chiral in nature. This carbon will be chiral, and according to SN1 mechanism, this CX bond will cleave first. That is, we will get a carbocation that will be stable carbocation, that is tertiary carbocation, and now nucleophile will come and will attack either from this side or from this side, And why this? Because we have chiral carbon. Because of its chirality, we have two positions of attacking, that is position 1 and position 2, or we can say attack from back side and attack from front side. Suppose if attacks from back side, then it will be R double dash R, and here we have nucleophile plus. If it attacks from front side, then it will be nucleophile R dash and R double dash. So we will have two kinds of products here. So here we have mixtures, and here we have only retention of configuration if we have these three R groups, same one, that is a methyl or ethyl group. Now let's see what is the stereochemistry of SN2 mechanism. So according to SN2 mechanism, it is a single step or one step process, that is nucleophile attacks in a single step. For example, C, H, H and CH3. Here we have X, that is leaving group, and nucleophile comes and attack from backside, and this CX bond will cleave out. That is why we get this one nucleophile, hydrogen and CH3. And why it attacks from backside? Because this CX bond, LUMO, we were discussing about it in the starting of the video. LUMO, that is lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. This CX bond, LUMO, is present on this side, and this is vacant orbital. That is why this nucleophile will attack into this orbital, and this CX bond cleave out, that is attacking from backside. That is why this nucleophile is opposite to this X group. It means that stereochemistry of this reaction is reversed because attacking is from backside. So we can say that there is inversion of configuration, or inversion of stereochemistry, inversion of configuration, because configuration is totally reversed here. That is why there is inversion of configuration. So this was all about the stereochemistry of SN1 and SN2 mechanism. So there are some more important factors that affects the SN1 and SN2 mechanisms. Let's see some examples in which cases SN1 and SN2 reaction happens. For example, if I have an example, CH3, CH2, NH, CH2 and X. X is leaving group. Similarly, if I have CH3, CH2, CH2X and X is leaving group. If I add any nucleophile here, and similarly if I add any nucleophile here, then which reaction will undergo via SN1 and which reaction will undergo via SN2 mechanism? See, if I talk about first reaction, then if I think about the SN1 mechanism, then we will have a carbocation, that is CH2, NH, here we have lone pair, and CH2, this carbocation. Since this carbocation is having lone pair at alpha position, and this lone pair will stabilize this carbocation or this electron deficient carbon center, that is why this first reaction will undergo via SN1 mechanism. Now nucleophile will come and will attack here, and we will get CH3, CH2, NH, CH2 nucleophile. Now if I talk about this reaction, so in this reaction, if we think about SN1 mechanism, so there should be a possibility of formation of carbocation. So let's see what is the carbocation that is going to be formed here. So carbocation will be CH3, CH2 and CH2 plus. So we can see here this is primary carbocation, and primary carbocation is very unstable. That is why there will be no possibility of SN1 mechanism here. So that is why it will undergo via SN2 mechanism, and nucleophile will attack into the lowest unoccupied molecular orbital of this CX bond, and this CX bond will cleave out, and we will get CH3, CH2, CH2 and nu, that is nucleophile. This will be our final product. So there are some more important factors that we have to learn in the next video, and these factors are solvent effect on rate of SN1 and SN2 mechanism. And another one important factor is structural effect. That is how structure of any compound affect the rate of SN1 and SN2 mechanism. These two factors we will learn in the next session. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thanks for watching.